But now we're going to move on to check out how the celebrations are for many Indonesian people who are residing in foreign countries, especially the ones who are far away from home. It must be quite hard actually sometimes to feel homesick, you know, to not feel the actual celebrations that are being conducted here in Indonesia. But we also are very certain that they are still feeling very proud and happy to be Indonesians celebrating their independence. Like, for instance, can you imagine being Indonesian but living in Canada, so far away at the other side of the world? Must be quite challenging, but also exhilarating at the same time. We actually have some visuals to illustrate to our viewers what it's like to celebrate Indonesia's independence in Canada.
Let's take a look.
Gimana perasaan Anda jadi penari?
Oh, senang sekali.
Jualan sate.
Sate. Yang jualan sate orang Madura asli.
Nice. Tuh.
All right, there you have it, the showcase of Indonesia's vibrant culture commemorating the Indonesia's independence in Canada. We believe it is a footage from probably a folks party where everyone's coming together and showcasing our culture to the Canadian people, coming together in all of those different colors and attires, traditional clothings, making it like spring in Canada, don't you think?
Exactly, and I love seeing all those dancers doing the traditional movements from West Java, and then there was some Betawi dancers as well.
Achinese Saman too. That is marvelous.
Good representations of Indonesia.
Indeed. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and greet one of our diasporas residing in Canada right now in the city of Edmonton. We have Debbie Tirayoh joining us via Zoom application. Debbie, a very good... okay, this is not time. I'm going to say good night to you, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us this late night, staying up late for us, sharing the story of the independence. Hold on, is it still the 16th or already the 17th in Canada?
Actually, now it's already 1 a.m. So it's 17.
Ah,
So
so
yeah,
it's early
Salam Merdeka,
dawn.
everyone.
Okay,
Happy
so we can say
independence day.
Merdeka to you.
Merdeka, Debbie. Thank you for
Merdeka.
joining us.
Oh my God, thank you so much for staying up late to talk with us. We truly appreciate it.
What
It's
have
okay.
you,
No worries.
Debbie, what have you put in place
Yeah.
as a part of the preparations to welcome this big celebrations of independence of Indonesia?
So yeah, actually, our celebration will be on Saturday because everyone here is working. So we
Okay.
have to choose weekend to have this actual celebration. But on the video that you guys see, we kind of like introduce our Indonesian culture to the people of Canada, so that they have a glimpse of what actually the culture of Indonesia, not only the dances, but also the food. So we sell satay, and then we
Yum.
introduce rendang,
Oh.
and also Japanese noodle. So yeah, we combine both prior to the Independence Day of celebration. And then we
wow.
invite people to come to our Independence Day celebration, which is on Saturday. So we're going to have some Canadian people come and watch and see how we celebrate our Independence Day.
Oh, look at that.
That looks absolutely delicious, Miss Debbie. Now, before we ask you more about Edmonton itself in Canada, the reason why we get in touch with different Indonesians living in many foreign countries is we want to show people, especially our viewers, the diversity of the Indonesian diaspora living abroad. So maybe you could tell us a little bit more about yourself, Miss Debbie Tirayoh. What do you do in Canada? How long have you been living there? And how is it like as an Indonesian living in Canada?
So I came to Canada in 2010, and currently I'm working here. It's kind of like difficult. We have struggling to find a job because mostly they're looking for people with Canadian experience. So we have different kind of jobs available actually for people who wants to work here. As long as you can showcase your skill, and you don't feel discouraged when they say like, oh, you need a Canadian experience. But yeah, I've seen that Indonesian people in Canada mostly, they what can I say? They are fighters, right? They're fighters.
Yeah.
Even sometimes they don't really speak English, but they survive. For example, me. So I work here, and I know some people say, "Oh, Canada, it's so cold," but compared to other countries, I think I can call Canada is home now.
Right.
Aww.
Miss Debbie, having been there for over 13 years, how do you stay close to your Indonesian roots? I mean, do you still speak Indonesian? Of course, you do speak Indonesian fluently, or is it mostly English? Or maybe vous parlez français très bien un petit peu?
Oh, parler français un peu. Parler français un peu. When I came here, first thing I do is try to find Indonesian community, and then was lucky enough that every city, almost every big cities, they have like a Indonesian community, like Indonesia communities, right? So I try to reach out and introduce myself, and then become more involved in the activities. It all depends on the individuals. If you really want to be involved with the Indonesian people, then you don't feel homesick at all, because we are so kind. They're so kind. They're so welcome here, and we help each other, especially when we have problems. You know, we have problems back home, and we get together because we feel like a big family here. Yeah, so
That's
so lovely to hear.
Yes. Now, Miss Debbie, excuse us for asking, because Edmonton is obviously not as popular in Indonesia. I mean, compared to bigger cities in Canada like Ottawa or Ontario. What is Edmonton like?
Well, Actually, Edmonton is the capital city of the province of Alberta.
Oh,
We
okay.
produce the oil. We produce the oil. So when we mention oil, probably people like, oh yeah, that's where all the money come from. We have more jobs. But I do understand that's why I try to promote Edmonton as much as I can because I realize that people knows Vancouver or Ottawa, right? And so I try to promote it by having my YouTube channel, doing my vlog, and I'm telling people, come to Alberta.
Nice.
We have more opportunity. Especially the tax is lower.
Very smoothly done there, Miss Debbie. Sliding it in there.
It's one of the selling point of our province.
And to add to that, Miss Debbie, we hear that Canadians are some of the kindest people on earth. So
is that true?
It must be lovely staying there.
Yes, agree.
All right.
Totally agree. I think as an Indonesian, sometimes I feel like because the world knows that we are as an Indonesian is the most kind people who like to smile a lot. But compared to the Canadian, I still feel like they're more kind than us because they like to say thank you, they like to say sorry, and sometimes they open the door for you. So you get used to it. Then
Right,
when I go back to
Miss Debbie.
Indonesia, it's like I'm hoping people will open the door for me, but it never happens. So
Miss Debbie, stay right there. We are coming to you right away. Well, just moments ago, we saw some videos, Siska, of people pouring in lontong sayur or something, and you mentioned you guys cook plenty of Indonesian food. My question is, how easy is it to get your hands on Indonesians' raw materials, particularly commodities that are
produce?
It's so far away to export and probably at a staggering price too. So tell us more about this.
Yeah, we do have some Asian stores that sell spices, which looks like a similar. We also some of the Asian store even sell pate and jengkol.
How long do they have to chop?
But for a specific spices, we have I think some Indonesian business men or women who brought some items from Indonesia, and then we can buy from them. And I think the Consulate General in Vancouver, they are actively promoting Indonesian spices for the Canadian people.
Okay, Miss Debbie, before we let you go, after 13 years living in Canada, what's your future plan? What you gonna do next in Canada? Or maybe also you can signify to us your hopes and wishes about the relationship between Indonesia and Canada in the near future.
Well, my hope and wish is that Canada people will know Indonesia more compared to other countries, because sometimes we get mistaken by Philippines, so they will think that we are Philippines, but we keep telling them, no, we're Indonesia. So that is our mission, to promote that Indonesia, it's a nice country, not only Bali. So that's my hope and wishes. And I think my future plan, other than promoting Indonesia, and I don't know, I don't really know what is my future plan, but I think I like to kind of like live in both countries. When it's getting cold here, I like to go to Bali or to Jogja to get some warm sun. That's my plan.
Well, that brings me to my next question to you, Debbie. Being so far away, it's North America. North America. I was going to say North Atlantic, but it's not. North America, Siska. That's so far away from Indonesia. Please enlighten us. How many hours did you have to fly, and how often do you return to the homeland?
I try to go back like once a year if I could, right? Because my parents still live in Indonesia, and I would like to have spending time more with my parents. I think it depends on which route you took. I like to go through Japan. That's the quickest way.
Okay.
So it will take you approximately 24 hours. Depends on the transit. Yeah, but approximately 24 hours for travel from here, because we are in Edmonton. We're kind of like in the middle, so we have to go to Vancouver, and then from Vancouver we go to Japan, and then Japan, Indonesia.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Thank you so
Recommend
much,
it.
Miss Debbie, for telling us about life in Canada. I think you said that you are surviving in Canada. I think you are striving, Miss Debbie. So congratulations on everything that you've done in Canada. Thank you for promoting Indonesia to all Canadians. And hopefully we get to see you when you go back here to Indonesia to celebrate
Pay
with
us a
your family
visit.
and loved ones, right?
Thank you, Miss
Or you
Debbie.
guys come here.
Tirayoh
You guys
all
come
the
Oh, that
here.
would
way
be
Thank you
from
so
lovely.
much for the opportunity, guys.
Thank you so much, Miss Debbie. And once again, Merdeka!
Merdeka!
Happy Independence!
Merdeka! Bye.
Bye-bye, Miss Debbie from Edmonton, Canada.
So wonderful.
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful.
She's telling us all of these great, beautiful stories in
Yeah.
Canada. And she said one of the transit place to get to Indonesia from
Yeah.
Canada is Japan,
Oh,
which is
okay.
where we're heading to next.
Nice.
Siska.
Okay, so we're going to talk to someone who lives in Japan. I'm going to tell us all about the celebration taking place there, commemorating the 78th anniversary of Indonesia independence. We have Danial Yusra now on the line. Hello. Good morning. Sorry, good afternoon from Jakarta. I don't know what time it is now in
This
Japan.
is late, around 4 p.m., right? Hello, Daniel. How are you?
Hi all, I'm doing kind of great. How are you guys?
We're
We
doing
are
fine here.
great.
Let's begin by saying Happy Independence Day.
Merdeka!
Merdeka, happy Independence Day.
He clapped for us.
So Daniel, tell us, where are you exactly in Japan?
Oh, I am in Tokyo actually. Yes, I'm in the
Okay.
capital city of Japan. Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
So
okay.
you're coping with all the staggering prices in Tokyo. So what's this? What's the celebrations of independence like at the capital, Daniel?
Of course. The capital is very nice, you know. There's the embassy here and there's the Indonesian embassy school here, so everything is centered around that. This year we only have the flag raising ceremony in the embassy school, but last year there were so many things because you know every year there's a theme. We try to make it everything about Indonesia. Typically we have a flag raising ceremony, then you know we cut the ketupat, then we have some you know typical Independence Day competitions, you know, like eating crackers. I would say it's difficult,
course.
you know,
You
fitting
gotta
the
you gotta
bottle
have that.
in and
Can't miss
everything.
that.
It's all a lot of fun.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
Daniel, you are the chairman of the Students Association in Japan. So before we delve into that, like maybe to learn a little bit more about how the Indonesian students diaspora in Japan is like, please tell us a little bit more about yourself. What are you studying in Japan? Maybe you can tell us also about the reason you're studying it and how is it like studying in Japan? I hear academically it's very competitive.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, hi guys, my name is Danial. I'm from Jakarta, actually, in Indonesia. I've been studying in Japan for almost 5 years now. I'm studying in Tokyo Institute of Technology. I am studying Information and Communications and Engineering. And the reason why I chose to study here was because, you know, Japan is famous for its technology. Great.
Okay, yeah, I think you
Wow.
chose the best place to learn about technology.
Engineering, that is
Yeah.
the right place to go to. So 5 years in Japan, what's it like being a diaspora in Japan? And we're pretty sure that you've been through several celebrations of independence in the country. Could you care to share with us these stories, please?
Sure. Yeah, as a diaspora in Japan, it's actually pretty nice, I would say. Japan, I think, is one of the places where there are so many Indonesian people. There's a lot. So just around every corner of the country, you can see every Indonesian. You know, from every walk of life. There can be professors, students, workers, tourists, business owners, many Indonesians. So really, it's very easy to become an Indonesian in Japan, I think. You know, I mean, sometimes it does get lonely, but you always know where to find Indonesians, you know? My first Independence Day celebration was 5 years ago in Osaka. And it was just a small,
Osaka.
simple flag bearing ceremony. There was
Okay.
the flag guard, you know, those people with the white uniforms, they carry the flag. They also have that in Osaka, but when I went to Tokyo, it's so much nicer, especially last year. Last year, they had not only a flag raising ceremony, but after that, they had a whole month full of festivities. Like they had a futsal cup, a badminton cup, they even have a stand-up comedy show. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's really great.
It does sound fun. Now, Daniel, actually, Rahmat and I had the honor of hosting the coverage of the official state visit by the Emperor and Empress of Japan, who came to visit Jakarta a few while ago. And as you can imagine, Japanese influence in Indonesia is massive. We see Japanese influence everywhere in the food industry, in pop culture.
In automotive.
In automotive is also quite substantial. But I want to know, how do you see Indonesian influence in Japan? Do a lot of Japanese people actually know about Indonesia? And I mean like more than Bali and just, you know, the famous historical and tourism spots?
That's a very good question. Now, actually, for Japanese people who are serious about business, they actually are very interested in Indonesia. I remember talking to a student in Indonesian language, Indonesian literature, I would say, Indonesian language studies. So they have that in Osaka University. And I remember asking them, like, why are you studying Indonesian? You know, even we learn other languages. Why are you guys learning Indonesian? And they say, I'm interested in Indonesia. I want to work in Indonesia because I see a lot of potential in Indonesia. So actually, a lot of Japanese people, they see Indonesia as the future. You know, they see their country, Japan, as a country with a declining population. But in Indonesia, the population growth is steady, the economic growth is steady. Basically, to them, Indonesia is the future. So I think that's how we influence them.
Right. Yep. Daniel, very quickly, my last question to you before we say goodbye. A lot of our potential Indonesian students out there, especially with your case studying engineering in Japan, which is something that Indonesia truly needs in terms of advancing in the future. With what you've achieved so far, we're very sure that you're going to be receiving offers from left to right, front and back to work there in Japan. Will you be returning home and dedicate what you've learned to the country for the advancements of the homeland, or what are the choices on the table here?
That's a very good question. Now, I'm still on the edge here. I really want to go home to Indonesia and dedicate my skills. But I feel as a student here, I don't have enough knowledge. I feel like I want to learn more about the culture, the technology in Japan, be an expert here, and then change Indonesia afterwards.
Very well said.
It's more long term.
Very encouraging to hear. Danial, Yusra, thank you so much for talking with us. We wish you a pleasant remaining day and, of course, more celebrations to commemorate the country's Independence Day there in Tokyo. Send our warmest regards to everybody there in Tokyo.
And best of luck with your study in Japan. Thank you, Daniel. Happy Independence Day and Merdeka!
Merdeka, Daniel!
Merdeka!
Graduate soon!
Thank you very much for today.
Arigatou gozaimasu!
Oishi! That's all I know. It's delicious.
Very, very wonderful to meet knowledgeable students like Daniel.
Representing the younger generation too, and his commitment to build our nation.
I see a bright future ahead of Daniel, actually.
Do you see what it means? No. My future is here already.
Okay, from Japan, Rahmat, we're going to go to another faraway country.
Another prosperous one.
Yes, another one of the happiest country in the world, always there at the top 5 of happiest country index.
And,
so we're going to Norway. We're going to speak to one of the Diaspora community living in Oslo, the capital. And this is actually not planned, a happy coincidence, Rahmat. I have to say that I know this person we're about to talk to.
Wow.
Lisa Mapusa Rennesund is actually a friend from my junior high years.
Oh, goodness.
Lisa.
Do you know what moringa is?
Moringa?
Yeah, it's kelor. It's a small leaf, meaning that we can meet, and it's an unprecedented meeting, virtually you and your old friend. This is Moringa World. Lisa,
hi,
hello.
Lisa. It's Siska, your friend from junior high. Do you remember?
Lisa, we believe you're still unmuted.
I think
can
you're
you
still
please unmute? We can't hear you yet. Are you unmuted? Are you muted?
Yes, hello. Good
Hi,
morning.
hey, we can
Good
hear you
morning from
now.
Oslo.
Hi. First
Hello.
of all, Merdeka, Lisa,
Merdeka. Happy
Independence.
Independence Day.
Merdeka.
Looking very lovely. We are twinning in red right now. Another happy coincidence.
Yes, we're matching.
So how are you, Lisa? Long time no see. And now I'm
I'm
talking to
good.
you from Jakarta
Yes,
to
it's been
Oslo,
ages.
Norway.
So that's an invitation, Siska.
Of course. So how is the celebration so far? It's just beginning, of course, your day. But do you have anything in plan to celebrate the independence of our country?
Uh, yes, today, Indonesian in Oslo, there will be celebration in Ambassador Residence in Oslo. They will have a flag ceremony and small gathering. And on the 26th, we will have food bazaar, the cultural festival. We call it a cultural festival. So there will be a bazaar, food bazaar. We will have many vendors selling different kind of Indonesian food.
Oh.
And yes, and then traditional dance, and of course there's no celebration without games. So there will be traditional games such as
Makan
soccer ball
kerupuk.
and marble race, and
Okay.
of course makan kerupuk.
Yes.
And I think there's also a fashion show, kebaya fashion show.
Oh,
Yes.
Wow,
So
that's
if
amazing.
you're around Oslo on the 26th, so yeah,
that's wonderful.
please come by.
Lisa, I'm very interested in what you just said, particularly the food bazaar. So what will you guys be serving at the bazaar, and how easy to get your hands on the commodities all the way from Indonesia to Norway?
It's very. I think it's that we have Asians shop here in Oslo, and they're selling a lot of spice, Indonesian spice or Asian spice here. So it's very easy to get. Yes.
Okay. So Lisa, I know for a while that you've been living in Oslo, making your life there with your beautiful family as well, but I've never actually found out what was the reason of you moving all the way to Norway. How long has it been, and what do you do now there in Oslo, Norway, Lisa?
Yes. I have lived here for 22 years.
Wow.
Met the man of my life.
Wow. So it all began with a love
now
story.
I work as, sorry?
It all began with a love story, I said.
Yes, of course. And now I work as an accountant at the IT firm.
Okay.
Right. Lisa, I've never been to Oslo, let alone lived them for such an extended time as you have. Would you care to let us in on how it is for an Indonesian to live in Norway, the differences of culture, not to mention the differences of climate, because I have one of my best friends there, a Norwegian, and she said when the bed comes to worst, they can experience up to minus 40 degrees Celsius in winter.
No.
So how does it how does it feel to live there in Norway?
As a tropical person like us, how do you survive Norway?
Yeah. Well, I'll survive in 22 years, so everyone can survive. It's very cold. In the winter time, it's very cold.
Okay.
Norwegians have a expression, there is no, det finnes ikke dårlig, der finnes ikke dårlig klær. Der finnes ikke dårlig vær, bare dårlig klær, which means there's no bad weather, only bad clothing. So they always prepare.
Depends
you have
on
to
what you
dress
wear.
appropriately.
So so you have to prepare. So when it's summer, you have to wear summer clothes. So when it's winter, you have like wearing a coat or the right clothes. Yes. So
Okay. That expression actually also.
Norway is very beautiful, you know. It's,
I'm sure.
Yes.
It's it's just over 5 million people in Norway, and it's over 700 people in Oslo. So it's not crowded.
Oh, okay.
That's very, very nice.
Sounds really
I
nice.
totally understand what you said in Norwegians just a while ago, because
Yeah.
I can say one for myself.
Okay.
Jeg elsker deg.
Oh, yeah, elsker deg òg.
What does that
It
mean?
means I love you.
Oh my God, so intimate already. Lisa,
No,
watch
no,
out
no,
for
because
this
that's
one.
what my friend taught me.
She's taken, right? She
No,
has
it's
a
not.
husband.
It was just a showcase.
No, as I said, she's married with two beautiful girls.
Yeah. Wow.
I love watching you sharing your life, Lisa, with your beautiful girls, half Indonesian,
Thank
half
you.
Norwegian. But I'm curious, how do you keep their Indonesian roots
Yeah.
in their everyday
How
lives
do you raise multicultural
Yeah.
children?
while living in
Oh.
Norway, in Oslo, from all places in the world?
Of course, by making Indonesian food and talk Indonesian.
Okay. Oh, so you still
Yes.
speak Indonesian
That's
with
a part
them?
of my culture. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can take out this girl from Indonesia, but you cannot take out Indonesian from this girl.
Nicely
Oh
said,
man,
girl.
where in Indonesia are you originally from?
Yeah.
Jakarta or other parts of Indonesia? And are you coming
Well,
home on a regular basis?
I born and raised in Jakarta,
Okay.
and my father came from Maluku. My mother from Sukabumi. Yeah.
Right. Before we end our conversation, Lisa, this is the 78th anniversary of Indonesia, such a mature age for a country. Being far away from Indonesia as a diaspora in Norway, what is your hope and expectations that you can share with us in light of our celebration today?
I wish for more united Indonesia and more prosperous Indonesia. Yeah, and more cross-country cooperation between Indonesia and Norway, of course.
Very nicely said. I
Yeah.
think you've just expressed all of our wishes. Thank you so much, Lisa. It's been such a delight talking with you and reconnecting with you again. We wish you the best of time celebrating Indonesia's independence. And please send my best regards to your beautiful family in Oslo, Norway. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Merdeka!
Thank you, Merdeka.
That's wonderful.
Man, I want to go to Oslo.
She now sounds a little bit more Norwegian than Indonesian.
Yes,
when she
yes.
talks.
The
Did you notice
accents
that?
of
Yeah, 22
Norwegians.
years.
22 years.
Yeah, that's a long
On a
time.
daily basis, you'll be speaking Norwegian as well.
Yeah.
Salmon fishing,
Oh my
visiting
God.
Viking sites.
Yes,
It's just,
I hear it's really beautiful actually in Norway.
Just
the
beautiful landscapes
natural
I've seen.
scenery and everything.
but it's so far away though.
It's so far away. Maybe you can visit a country still in the European region,
Yes.
but a little bit more closer to Indonesia, which is the UK. The capital is London. It's one of your much awaited visit destinations, right?
Yeah,
But first, maybe we can talk to someone who actually lives there and find out what it's like living in London.
Yeah, especially in the time of inflation at the moment, because us as an Asian from Indonesia, it's going to be like, take a deep breath before.
Let's ask Satria how it's like to be Indonesian but spending pound sterling in London.
Oh, so we're
UK.
going to London now. Okay, we have another diaspora there, Satria Ponde, joining us from London. Hello, Satria.
Hi, Satria.
Hi.
There you are. Good morning to you in London. Happy
Merdeka,
Independence Day
Indonesia.
and Merdeka.
Merdeka. Right, so how's it like,
How are
the
you
Independence
guys?
Day of Indonesia in the UK, Satria?
Oh, it's just wonderful. It's great. We have a lot great community in every state in Indonesia. In the UK, we can like you know, even though we can't be in the big community, but every state, like in Liverpool, where I live now, we have a
okay.
small
Liverpool.
community that's everyone's such a very friendly and a very Indonesian as well.
Oh, okay.
Man.
Apologies, Satria. We thought you were in London, but apparently
You are in Liverpool.
in Liverpool. But, you know, sensing from your accent, you've been living there for quite a while. Could you tell us how long have you lived there in Liverpool or in UK?
I've been living here already 14 years.
14 years.
years.
What do you do there, mate, in the UK, if I may ask?
The
And
accent
how
is
often do you go
infectious.
to the stadium in Liverpool? I'm influenced by your beautiful British accents, if I may.
Well, I have to get Tom's for your
Oh,
your
thank
accent,
you.
mate.
It's all from movies, trust me.
lovely.
Yes.
Well, I started study in Liverpool, and then fortunately I got a job, and then settled in Liverpool. And at the moment, I did a freelance as auditor.
Okay. So how is it like living in Liverpool? I know Liverpool is actually quite famous in Indonesia, at least in Jakarta, with the football club,
I know.
with the Beatles.
I so envy him.
So it's probably one of the most exciting cities to live in the UK, other than London, right? Could you enlighten us more about that?
Yeah, a lot of people just know in London because, well, people in London say London, but we say in Liverpool say London. And Liverpool is culture city. Liverpool was won the European culture in 2008. So it's not big, but I love Liverpool because everything is there. You don't need to go, you know, to go away. Like it's small city. Whatever you need is there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So yeah, I love Liverpool.
Satria, you mentioned Liverpool is a small city, but for us, particularly football fans, we hear a lot about Liverpool. We would never imagine Liverpool as a small city. But considering what you said, what's the Indonesian communities like in Liverpool? Do you guys, you know, meet with each other on a regular basis, held a gathering, particularly for the Day of the Independence?
Yeah, today I'm getting ready with my friends. We have an invitation in Wales, basically. It's not in Liverpool because Liverpool is not far from Wales, which is a part of United Kingdom. So we're going to have a ceremony like you guys. We are jealous, like people in Indonesia doing the Independence Day ceremony. So we also doing it the way you do, guys.
Okay, so as we mentioned, the influence of Liverpool is huge for Indonesians, the football club, the music, the pop culture. But
music, that's right.
Yeah,
Thanks
the Beatles.
for reminding me, Siska.
Yeah, and like British pop, British rock, right? But I want to know how about the influence of Indonesia in Liverpool. I know it must be really minimal, but how do you see it? And maybe you can also say, how do you hope the influence of Indonesia can be heightened in Liverpool? In what way would it be?
As we said earlier, a lot of people focus in London, right? Because it's the big city, the capital. You know, all the events held by from the embassy, all in London. I get that because that is the capital. Everyone can go to London. But in Liverpool, we have also like a student from Indonesia who study here, and then they have a community. And I was a student before, so we are. Sometimes we are gathering and then we like showing our food normally. And not only that, as individual, as Indonesian, sometimes we just are cooking for local people or for your neighbor or something like that. It's just small contribution, if I have to be honest. You know, the big event so far, I didn't hear that something that held by Indonesian community is actually in Liverpool. But in Wales, where a lot Indonesian also living there, they have they're married with local people, so you know, like ibu-ibu, you know what I mean? They're meeting like every week, or someone have a birthday, so they invite their colleague from work, let's try our food or make a summer game, something like that. You know.
Yes, right. Just very quickly, just one final question. I heard from my colleague Siska that UK is one of the cities, one of the countries in the world where you feel most welcome. The diversity is visible there. And you, on behalf of the diversity from Indonesia, please share the story with us, being a foreigner and how you feel welcome in the country.
Yeah, Liverpool, in the UK in general, I think because they have like a law that you have to obey with. So in that case, a lot of people, not just us as immigrants, also local people, we have to follow the rule. For example, if you do like discrimination, something like that, the take is very serious in the UK. So as me, as Indonesian, so far, I probably had a very little experience that is such like discrimination or something like that. You know, it's not a serious thing. So UK, I have to say, probably one of the country in the world that really take a serious about anything that like discrimination, or they really embrace the diverse of the people who live in the UK. As you see, the Prime Minister is from
an Indian descent.
Indian heritage.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Satria, Ponde, thank you so much for your time, for sharing with us your stories and your experiences. We wish you the best of luck for everything you do there in Liverpool. And please stay in touch. As you say in Liverpool, you'll never walk alone, Satria.
And I would like to say a lot of thanks to you, mate, for talking to us all the way from Liverpool. We thank you very, very much. From Jakarta.
All right,
thank you, Satria.
Alrighty, mate. Merdeka.
Cheers.
One more time.
Merdeka. Happy Independence Day. I love him.
Wow.
That was great stories.
Candid stories we've been hearing so far from the Indonesian diaspora living abroad. I love hearing the personal stories.
Exactly.
How they struggled, how they strive at the end.
Yeah. And he echoed what you said, that he has a first-hand account of how it feels to live there. And it's exactly as you said, he feels welcome. He has found no any discriminations, acts or gestures or whatever that you can sometimes see in a subtle way. But it was not the case. It is not the case in the UK. So that's heartwarming to hear. Thank you very much again. Our friends from the UK. Where are we off to next?
So we are still trying to reach out a few other friends who are living abroad. I think we are trying to reach the one we have in Brisbane, in Australia. Just
meeting
check.
Miss Lena, we believe.
Lena Toepan Cooley. Now this is actually another friend of mine who I haven't seen for a long time.
Really?
We used to work together on the same floor when we were still
you in Jakarta.
Broadcasters. But we just going to make sure, is Lena ready to share with us her experience?
Hi, Lena.
There she is. Hello,
She's in
gorgeous.
The car.
Oh my God, Lena, long time no
Happy
see.
Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day, Lena. Merdeka.
Okay. Lena, are you on mute?
I think you're muted, dear. You're muted. Unmute your Zoom first.
We think you're muted. Yeah.
Okay.
You check on the icon, on the mic icon,
yes.
usually on the lower left side.
Okay, sorry about that.
Oh, there you are.
Hi, Lena, once again.
Lena, good to see you again.
Welcome to the program.
We spoke last year on this exact same program. She was the one who told me that they cooked gudeg for the celebration.
Nice. Okay, so gudeg last year. What is this year's highlight, Lena? Go ahead.
Oh, it was like we went to a bazaar over the weekend, and the bazaar was actually it was held by the the Indonesian Muslim community in Queensland, and they have it every month, but especially this time it was with the theme of the red and white balloons and the flags. It was really fun. It was Indonesian Independence Day theme, and the food is just, it was so hard to choose like which one to get because everything looks so good, and it was really fun. And they've got games as well. So my daughter came, my husband came. There's a lot of other Indonesian community there. My friends that I haven't seen in a long time.
Oh, that's nice.
It was really fun. It was such a highlight, and it was like when you're feeling, when you're overseas, so far away from home, and you're feeling homesick. This is such a great event to just, eating your favorite food that you haven't had for a long time as well. So it was really good. I was.
Lena, we're looking at the visuals right now from this food bazaar that you told us about. I mean, looking at the visuals, it doesn't look like you're in Brisbane. It looks like you're in Bendungan Hilir in one of the snack stands. So many variety of snacks.
I know, and all familiar foods from Indonesia.
You're not missing anything, right?
It's a homecoming indeed.
Yeah, right. Ada cendol, ada jajanan pasar, and
a culinary homecoming there.
Crazy. It felt surreal. Yeah, it didn't feel like Brisbane. Like everybody was just like, everybody was like, chatting Indonesian, just like Betawi. Everybody was like a Sundanese, Betawi, and from everywhere, from all over Indonesia. Yeah.
Lena, we were in touch. We were in touch just moments before I visited Brisbane less than a year ago, and I'm missing the city like you have no idea. So tell us what it's like in recent times in the city, and what's the mood like towards the celebrations of Indonesia's independence? Because we know Australia is also Indonesia is a near and dear friend to Australians. Madam Penny Wong speaks fluent Bahasa Indonesia. So what's it like in Brisbane for the celebrations of Indonesia's independence?
It's been so good. Like they really acknowledge Indonesia, like one of, like a lot of the iconic buildings, and actually the most iconic bridge in Brisbane, Story Bridge. They lit it up, red and white like every year. I'm not sure because tonight I couldn't be there because I had to drive my daughter to basketball. And,
okay.
But yeah, I checked online, and they still, like every year for Independence Day, of Indonesian Independence Day, they lit up the bridge red and white, and the city hall in the city as well. And there are actually quite a few events. Today they also have another official event, like just underneath that bridge, and they have Indonesian students gathering around, barbecue, and they sing Indonesian songs. And but unfortunately I couldn't go because it was like today. It was just before, and I couldn't. Yeah.
It's all about getting together, right, Siska? And your answer just answered my next questions. Why are you in the car?
A lot of duties today, mommy duties.
Thursday.
Man,
it's a bit hectic for
multitasking.
This mama. I got my daughter here. I'm driving. I'm supposed to be driving her to basketball
Happy
right
Independence
now.
Day to your daughter
But,
as well.
we had to stop. We had to stop like in the middle. Well, not in the middle of the road, but it's
all right,
pompa
Lena.
bensin ya, harus berhenti di pompa bensin.
Lena, Toepan, Cooley, we will not take any much longer of your time. We truly thank you for your time, for sharing with us. And once again, happy Independence Day. Merdeka!
Merdeka!
Thank you so much for having me.
Drive safe.
Bye. Have a great celebration.
You too. Good to see you.
That was lovely. We both connect to Lena in our own way. With your friends, a couple of them today. So that was lovely.
Acquaintances, right?
Acquaintance,
so very happy to reconnect with old friends, but also very happy to make new friends, like the one we're gonna have here, calling in via Zoom from Switzerland. We have Christiana Streiff, now calling from Schweiz. Christiana, hello.
Hello, Mbak Anna. Mbak Anna, apa kabar? How are you? We met earlier this year in January in Zurich.
From Switzerland.
Still wearing the kebaya. So lovely to see you again.
Hello, Miss Christiana. Happy Independence Day. Merdeka.
Independence Day. Merdeka.
Mbak Anna, you, as we've known, you've always advocated for kebaya in Europe. So how's it going this time? I mean, we met 5-6 months ago, and you're still wearing one now, which is another noble effort to promote our indigenous culture wherever you are, and that's in Zurich, Switzerland. Tell us how the outfit has been going so far.
Yes, like today, you guys seeing me that I'm wearing again my kebaya.
Yes.
This time is red. Maybe I cannot show the whole things. Like there is Balinese dancer, which is painted in my lovely kebaya today. It's red like Indonesian flag, right? And then today in Indonesian embassy in Bern, actually they are celebrating also the ceremony of Independence Day. But afterwards, somewhere in the afternoon in Lake of Zurich, a few communities and then a few friends also celebrate in the Indonesian Independence Day with so many kind of contests, like typical Indonesian Independence Day contests, like makan kerupuk, and then so many funny things, like they have to compete one another running, and then we call it, how you call it, like tarik tambang, whatever, like you guys, you always see as a custom when we celebrate Independence Day.
Oh, nice. That looks absolutely wonderful. Now, Bu Anna, I'm curious, as a strong advocate for kebaya wearing, especially for the younger generation of Indonesian women, I'm sure you must be extra delighted to hear that finally the president has announced 24th of July as the National Day for kebaya.
Oh, that's nice.
So that must have been really wonderful for you and for the other women who have been advocating for kebaya wearing. But I want to know actually about your own experience wearing kebaya in Europe. What was the response from the local people, from the people in Switzerland, watching you wearing that beautiful kebaya?
Yes, it's interesting expression that I always heard and as I always got because they always say, Christiana, you wearing something so nice. Yes, this is our own identity, our Indonesian woman identity, we call it kebaya. And then I try to show them, and then they always excited with so many colors that we always have for the kebaya, like we have like special pattern, like a kutu baru or kartini, I told every kind of style and pattern that for the kebaya, that I always have my own collection. And then they really like kind of more excited, because of the color, because of the special cut, and then it's typical like you're from Indonesia for sure, like from far away. They always tell me something like that. And then I also tell the young generation, especially for my one of my kids. I have two kids, a son and daughter. The daughter, coincident, she also loves kebaya, so much. And then every occasion, like when we go to the embassy or they got invited from the ambassador for the special occasion, I always wearing the kebaya. Also, my daughter does.
Right.
And
wonderful.
Like one of my friends also wants to wearing also the kebaya, especially after 2 years. I always try to spread out how important we are as Indonesian women, introduce and then acknowledge ourselves. We are Indonesian. We have kebaya, and then that is so beautiful to wearing off. So
especially with the fact that we're competing with Malaysia and Singapore to gain tangible cultural heritage from UNESCO. So that's something that is very noble for you to keep on making strides to get our kebaya be acknowledged out there in Europe. But we've been looking at visuals of the celebrations, the Folks Party in Bern, the capital. But we met in Zurich. So are you now in Zurich or in Bern, Miss Anna?
Sorry, once again?
Are you now in Zurich or in Bern? Because there are two celebrations.
Oh, yes. The one that we already saw, we celebrated food bazaars last week on Saturday, 12th of August. And then there is also so many kinds of contests, like lomba, whatever. And then they close with the dance, poco-poco dance, with so many friends and then so many Indonesian communities who live also in Switzerland. And then today they just celebrate the ceremony like usually normal ceremony, Independence Day ceremony.
Okay, that looks wonderful. Now, Ibu Anna, before we let you go, we see you as a person who truly appreciates your cultural heritage, your roots, your Indonesian background, but of course, the theme for today's celebration of Indonesia's independence is about moving forward for the advancements of our nation. Now, how would you say is the best way to combine these elements of our traditional heritage, but using it as one of our strengths to move forward to be a more advanced nation in the future?
We have to realize nowadays, like Indonesia is such a big, huge country. I have to say huge country. This is like a lot of competitions in the world, but we, thanks to our president, Jokowi, that Jokowi gave us like such a brave heart, We have to move forward. We have so many things, so many values that we can compete to other huge countries. And then we have so many natural resources which the other countries don't have, you know. This is kind of like a value added that we have to give to our young generation to really spread of and acknowledge all the time, you know. But don't forget, be proud always as Indonesian people. Be proud always as Indonesian men. Be proud always as Indonesian women. That's what I tell to all of my friends, my colleagues, and also my both kids.
Right. Miss Anna, for the celebration today, what are you cooking? Because I gotta be honest, I miss your cooking. She brought us over this delicious Sulawesi chicken at one time, and that was the highlight because food in Switzerland is so pricey.
Yeah, that must have been so wonderful.
And she was so kind to bring us over Indonesian food. So for the big day today, what are you cooking? Give us a sneak peek.
You're so clever. You know exactly that I have to bring something for today, you know, because we gathering with other Indonesian communities and Indonesian friends. So I already prepared stir fry, long beans and tempeh that everyone loves. And then I bring the chips, kerupuks, you know. And then, so combined with the Swiss salad, you know, potato salad. So,
all right.
And then others bring along the rendang, you know, everyone likes. I forgot. I prepared already the chicken satay.
Oh, that's it.
Absolutely delicious. Ibu Christiana Streiff, thank you so much for talking with us. And thank you for being an advocate of kebaya diplomacy and
Thank you,
food
you
diplomacy.
guys, for having you guys. It's such a wonderful time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Likewise.
Happy Independence Day.
Merdeka, Ibu
We
Ana.
still celebrate Independence Day. Merdeka.
Merdeka.
What a warm personality. I love her. You've had the pleasure of meeting her in person.
Yes, it was during one of our duty, the reporting duty, and she was so kind to come over and to bring us this delicious food I'll never forget. It was warm chicken and it was spicy. It was just the highlight. In the meantime, she was a nice cap to our sessions of conversing with ambassadors, consul generals, and diasporas around the world for the celebrations of independence overseas, Siska.
Indeed, but we're actually going to show a little bit more visuals from the celebrations in Bern before we say goodbye to you as well. Let's have a look first. All right, thank you to all of our friends in Bern for that wonderful video. And now we're going to say hello to an Indonesian living in California, United States, Riffa Sigman, who's now live on Zoom, ready to talk to us about her experience. Hi, Miss Riffa. Happy Independence
Hi,
Day.
Riffa.
Merdeka.
Merdeka.
Guys,
Riffa, we thank you so much for being awake until 1 a.m. in the morning. This is early dawn for Independence Day for you. Thank you, thank you. So what's in store for the celebration today?
Yeah.
say that again.
What have you prepared for the celebration of independence?
Actually, nothing. I just got back from holiday like 5 hours ago.
Okay.
So, this is holiday time, yeah.
But I made some videos on Twitter and I posted it on my Instagram. So yeah, it's that's all it.
Okay, so Miss Riffa, could you tell us actually where exactly in California do you reside and how long have you lived there and how is it like being Indonesian and living in California, one of the most beautiful states and most prosperous states in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I live in Pasadena, Los Angeles. If you know about the Rose Bowl, about the parade every year. That's where I live, and I've been living here for 5 years.
Okay, 5 years.
Yeah.
Right.
It's been fun. It's always a nice experience to me.
Right. Ms. Riffa, we are commemorating the 78th anniversary of Indonesia's independence. What does our independence mean to you personally, particularly being outside of Indonesia, being in the US for 5 years now?
Well, personally, it's like the freedom to express yourself and the freedom to have access to health, education, like to beautiful things, like to access another island, which is for me, I love keep the cat. That matters.
Right.
Okay, Miss Riffa, thank you so much once again for waiting until such late hour. We wish you to have a great celebration ahead, although you must be recuperating as well after that holiday that you take.
She's very tanned, I can see.
I know. So thank you so much once again for talking with us. And once again, Happy Independence Day. Merdeka!
Merdeka, you're most welcome, guys.
Thank you, Miss Riffa.
Bye-bye.
Right, and that concludes our beautiful, inspiring segment of overseas independence celebrations here on TVR World, Siska. However, we still have another exciting segment coming on with our full day and all day long coverage of the Independence Day with our colleagues Aisha Fabienne and also Audrey Utoyo taking on the podium in just a few moments. In the meantime, we bid you adieu.
Yes.
Rahmat Idris.
I'm Siska Becker. Thank you so much for joining us and enjoy the rest of celebration right here on TVR World. Until then, take care. Goodbye. And once again, Merdeka!